Morning all, how are we doing? Sorry, technical problems this morning. Couldn't get my mic working for some reason. Why is it every time anybody updates anything, everything breaks? So overnight I had two updates, Windows updated and the Streamlabs software updated that I use. So of course, the microphone immediately stops working because something's changed. So you go into the settings and it's not even there. You unplug it, you plug it in. It now doesn't detect itself anymore. Technology. Anyway, I'm here now and it's working. Morning, everybody. Christian, Ian, Peter, and Peter. JC, Andrew, John, Marco, Virginia, Baggy, Andres, how are we doing? Ken and Lee, Tom, Gregors, Amy, David, Stevie, Prince, Monkey. Morning, Joe. So yesterday we had a big run on the US, which this morning looks like it might continue. Difficult to tell, but bit too early to be speculating on it. But certainly having a little bit of a rally at the Open, the US, or at the London Open. Everything is coming down against the US. US dollar and CAD aren't moving, so they're both moving together. But as you can see from the US dollar Swiss, US dollar yen, everything is rallying basically. So we'll see if that is just rushing for an attempt on yesterday's low. And we'll see if the buyers decide we don't want to go any lower than that. So we didn't actually stall out at all yet. I mean, we did. But basically yesterday, it was obviously continuous selling or buying all day on the US. The last 2 hours, when the market was basically shut and everyone was giving up, it obviously went sideways. Asia tried to push it back up again. So we know there are some buyers looking to get out of this, but it looks a bit aggressive this morning, doesn't it? So we'll see what happens. So news today. Obviously, that all these figures yesterday were, they came out as green, but they're not massively green because obviously it's saying that the inflation figure hasn't dropped. It's the same as it was last year. And, you know, that drop you were expecting, you didn't get it. You got a little bit less than you were expecting. So this is all not as good as it should be for the US, which is why I'm surprised we've had such a big move to the US, but we'll see. Today, we've got Bailey speaking at 9 o'clock in an hour. And then we've got Lagarde speaking this afternoon and Harker. Where are these guys? Institute of International Finance, AGM in Morocco. They're at an IMF seminar and he's somewhere else. So they're all in different places. They're not in the same place. So we've got lots of talking heads. Talking heads can drop news just willy-nilly, so we'll see what happens there. But anyway, the only forecast news we've got is University of Michigan at 3 o'clock, which is half an hour after the Open. Very hit and miss Michigan. Sometimes it goes absolutely nuts for no reason whatsoever, and sometimes it does absolutely nothing at all. So that's a real flip of a coin, the Michigan result. Right, so that's news. Overnight, not a lot of overnight news. We've got Japan is robust enough for rising yen rates. We expect gradual increase in Japan's policy interest rates. This is the S&P talking. Apart from that, you know what I said yesterday in the live room yesterday afternoon? I said I can guarantee with almost 99% certainty overnight we'll have the Japanese saying something about intervention and they're not happy with the FX rates. Didn't happen. Japanese didn't say a word overnight. They did, however, say something yesterday late afternoon. As that spike happened on the US, they came out and said about 5 o'clock, wasn't it? There we go. Japan official. I don't know what that G7 is. But anyway, I guess it's referring to the G7 as in the G8 type thing without Russia now. Reaffirmed. Why does it do this? Excessive FX moves are problematic. So that's literally all we got out of Japan overnight. So we will see what happens. There's a bit more talk about the Fed from the Fed overnight, but nothing new and exciting. Get rid of that. So we'll see what happens with the yen today. If we get continuation push on this today and we come up above that 150 level next week, we'll probably get a second intervention coming through. So it'd be interesting to see if that rallies any further. I got into loads of positions yesterday. We had loads of RSI extensions. We still have got loads of RSI extensions on the hourly, so loads of opportunities to get into new positions. So they all triggered yesterday. Lots and lots. We'll have a look at those in a bit. ODRs overnight, Aussie, New Zealand. We've had some movement there. ADR hit. So we had a massive sell-off on the New Zealand dollar yesterday. We got an ADR hit there. It all came all the way back down to ADR again. We've gone up to ADR again. So massive volatility entering on the Australasian pairs overnight. We got some weekly hits as well. So there's plenty to look at. But we'll start with the DAX because obviously the market's about to open in 17 seconds. We had a gap fill, which is done. So looking at today, we obviously pushed down yesterday. All the indices came down yesterday because of the US dollar strength. So we'll see what happens with the US dollar. If the US dollar is going to rally at the open, we're going to get obviously a continuation move on that. Whoa, there we go. Off we are to the other end with the DAX. Bet I didn't get in that. No, not in it. Oof, that was a big volume came in there. 167, too tight. So I'm not in that. So none of that range is wide enough. So danger of whipsaw this morning. So haven't taken that initial break. We'll take the 5-minute candle break. That was a hell of a move, wasn't it? Came in quick. If you're trading with the opening range breakout EA, I'll be surprised if you got triggered on that. Let me know. Because I doubt whether the EA would have actually got a chance to execute those orders before that move happened. So you might be sitting there with limit orders. We will see. There. So upside on this today. Obviously, yesterday's high is the obvious target, which is ADR. So we got ADR there. That dotted line there is yesterday's high. So this is where I would expect us to head. This is exactly, if you look, if you ever need confirmation that there are levels of price that the market moves to and then just goes no more. Yeah, this is it. So that is the very high of 2 weeks ago, that wick. Yeah, so we opened on that Monday. We rallied up. The market went boom and collapsed for the entire week. Yesterday, we hit that to the pip and immediately the market sold off from it. Exactly. It's not just a roundabout. It hit it and it popped. That's limit orders. Yeah. So the market has limit orders placed at levels. There's a big institution that is selling from that zone. So that is obviously our upside resistance today. Downside, it's ADR. Basically, we got a tiny little gap here from Monday, which we didn't fill. It's kind of, I would kind of class that really as filled. If you look at where the wick is there and that high there, it didn't get down to there, but I mean, that between friends in banks is irrelevant. So downside, I look at ADR. So really you can go anywhere you like today on this one. Up or down, we've got ADR's worth of movement without resistance or support to get in the way. So we'll see where we go. So upside rejection at the moment off of that sort of high before the market closed out. So we'll see where we go. I haven't got period separators turned on for some reason. So 1 minute to go on the pre-market. Sorry, on the 5-minute opening range cash balance. So nice looking candle there. So I'll take a break of that today. Morning. Who haven't I said hello to? Brian, he's got his 8 ball out. Morning, Neo. Morning, Outro. Morning, Russian person I can't pronounce. Morning, Joe. You didn't trigger? No. No, I'd be surprised if you got a trigger off of that today. That was too volatile. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, there is things you can do. I mean, there are ways I can reprogram the EA so that it basically goes, place the pending order. Oh, couldn't get the pending order? Okay, screw it. Are we above the level? Yes, then just get in. The trouble with that is you might get an entry up here somewhere. So that basically accounts as slippage, which you don't want to do. You don't want to go, oh, actually, I'll get in because we couldn't execute it because it was too fast. We'll get in up here. That's twice as much risk as you should take. Yeah, you don't want to be doing double the risks just because the market was volatile at the open. Wait, take the next break. Yeah, so take the 5. That one wasn't able to trigger. Much better just to sit and wait. Something caused that this morning. There was a big order, went in immediately at the open there. So, you don't want to just wait and see what happens. There's no rush. Market's not going anywhere. Surprisingly got in with 0 slippage on the 5ers. That's because it's not real. Moving fast today, my log got taken out at break even. My log got taken out at break even. Yeah, probably not a bad idea. Look at that gap. See that? Look at this thing. There's a lot of volume coming in this morning. They're dumping a lot of orders today. Range is too small on the DAX. I may take a manual on this today. I'm going to give this another 5 minutes. I might take a manual trade on it. There's no trades with the EA today, basically. So if you look in the logs, whoops, the EA basically will be saying the pre-market ranges are all skipped. Conditions are not right, too small. Opening range breakout skipped today. Conditions not right, too small. Yeah. So the EA is basically saying everything's too tight at the open. Yeah. So we're contracted, which isn't bad because it means there's probably going to be an explosive move. But we don't know how long this is going to stay contracted for. And these types of conditions, you could well get a massive ADR run. But you could also just go like that for the entire session. Don't forget we got Bailey speaking at 9 o'clock. So they might be hanging around a little bit for Bailey. Unlikely because it's the DAX. It's euro, not pound. But we'll see. I'll come back to that in a minute. We'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, very whippy open. A lot of volume coming in, no direction. So not perfect trading conditions, this one. Right, let's look at ADR. So the ADR is, we've only got the Aussie New Zealand. So we've looked at that one already. So that is an ADR reversal. So you've got the 5-minute entry this morning, straight up into ADR. M pattern reversal. Very, very nice. We're pushing back into propulsion now, retesting. So looks nice for a short. Weekly extensions. We've got the Euro New Zealand. Anything hit monthly yet? No, nothing's hit the monthly levels yet. Still no triggers on the monthly ranges. Weeklies, we've got the Euro New Zealand. So that has hit its weekly range, which was, where are we? Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So that low, so that's your weekly range hit, straight up into that resistance. That's a beautiful run. Look, 3 days solid, straight up. That's a lovely reversal opportunity, that Euro New Zealand. It's extended on the hourly. Oh, I'm in short already, sorry, yeah. So I got into this one short yesterday on that H1M5 mean reversion. So I'm in short already. Lovely opportunity for a short off of that at the moment. It's gone even further than it did yesterday. So I'll be looking for that propulsion gap. Not much profit, but looking to get down into there. Pound New Zealand, I suspect I'm in this as well. Yeah, just got into this one this morning. M5 reversal alert there. So the first reversal alert this morning was here. Off of that, 3-bar reversal. And then we pushed up, invalidated that high. Second reversal that's just gone in. So there's your kind of M there, or there, whichever way you want to look at it. Yeah, good potential move to the downside on this one as well. We'll see what Bailey says. Bailey might drop the market today. We'll see. Hopefully he rallies it, to be honest. I'd rather he rallied it, in which case, obviously, I'll scale into this one, but I'll get out my pound US. Just look for somewhere around that propulsion gap to the downside. New Zealand dollar Swiss. Long on that one from yesterday. So there's the entry yesterday on that one. That was an H1 M5 mean reversion entry. We're embedded on the RSI. So that's still coming down. Propulsion gap is probably what we're going to test there, and hopefully we'll find some buyers in there. So I'll be adding a second onto that one. 44 is ADR. So yeah, if we get into that propulsion gap today, anywhere in this propulsion gap today, I will take the next reverse alert, scale into a second on that one for a pullback on that move. I'm going to put my target up initially in that propulsion gap. That won't be where I'll get out, because I'll need a second position on this one now, because it's moved down so far today already. So when I get into a second down here, the average will be dropped down to around about there. That support will become my target. So I'll put my TPs for both positions just under that support, which should turn into resistance on the way back up. New Zealand Swiss. New Zealand US. So first long on that one. Again, propulsion gap. Highest propulsion gap on that I'll target initially. Lovely double bottom coming up. So if we get back down into this area here, I'll be taking a second on that one. Again, average down. TPs will move down into that propulsion gap. It's like living in delayed world today. Windows, I don't know what happens sometimes when you have Windows updates. Everything just goes really confused and slow. I'm getting notifications coming through that I normally get as soon as I boot up Windows. They're all suddenly coming through. Like, it's gone, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot this morning. Love Windows. US dollar Swiss. So sideways on that one at the moment. That is a weekly hit from there. Yeah, but we didn't get extended. As you can see, the move was not fast. It was like we had a bit of a news. We had a move around, sat around for a bit, sat around, little bit of a spike, but pushed it all back up again. So the RSI, there was no relative strength in the move. It was just a grind. So no entry on that one. Nice profit take move, though, if you took it yesterday. And obviously, that's based off the US dollar news rather than anything else. So so there's your AWRs. Let's quickly see what DAX is up to. Holy crap, what a mess. Going long on the DAX. I'm going to put a hedge underneath that wick. So I'm going with a slightly wider range. This obviously, this range was too small. So what I'm doing manually today, should have used a pending order, shouldn't I? Idiot. I thought it was going, but it's not. It's rejecting. So going long there, obviously that range was too small. That range was only 207. Minimum range I'm looking for is 209. So that range there, that candle and the high of that candle, so the 5-minute initial cash balance and then the 5-minute candle afterwards, forms a range of about 267, which is plenty. That's over 10%. So I'll take those two as a range. Target. I'm only taking a single on this today, not two positions. So I'm just going to go tricky. Just going to go the 2R, I think. See if we can get to that high. We've got that area there, potentially as resistance to the upside. We've got that little area there, which was a support. turned resistance, which is all the way up there. ADR is basically yesterday's high. But obviously there's an awful lot of volume coming in this morning, but there's not any direction. So the market's dumping a lot of orders, but there's no speculative moves starting yet. So be a little careful. If I do get hedged on it, obviously I'll then look for a bigger move and see if I can get out of a bigger move. But it's not really going anywhere, is it, today? Come back to that in a bit. But it'll either run or I'll get locked in. Right. RSIs. Let's have a look through those. I'm in DAX, triggered in. Cool. Morning, Nujorj. Still can't say your name. Morning, Jao. Oh, by the way, it's Friday the 13th today. So, do we want to be trading on Friday the 13th? At the moment, it looks like no. But yeah, Friday the 13th. Scary. Well, it's not scary, is it really? Not unless Mike Myers turns up, then it's scary. Right. RSIs. So, as you can see, loads of new positions taken yesterday. Lots on. It's probably actually better just to go through my positions because that pretty much covers the RSI dashboard, I think. Well, have a look at everything. So Aussie dollar CAD starting at the top. That's an hourly. So for those of you that might be new, this is the hourly RSIs. This is the 4 hourlies. So we'll cover the hourlies first, but you'll find that when we're going through the hourlies, they will all be extended on the 4 hours as well. So pretty much everything I say on the hourlies is going to be the same for the 4 hours. So some of these will be, if they're extended on the hourly, there are opportunities to get in. They will also be extended on the 4 hour if you're taking the H4M15 mean reversion route rather than the hourly. So pick one or the other, but not both. But we'll cover them, and then obviously the 4 hours will be the same. So Aussie dollar CAD. As we know, huge drop on that one yesterday. So first entry taken on that. I need to put a PTP on that one as well. So whoops. Terminal's disconnected. I can't put a TP in. There we go. So it's not much profit either, is it? Target that propulsion gap. So as you can see, we're in a massive range on the Aussie CAD at the moment. So assume that we're going to get a range bounce from down here. Look to target propulsion. So that's an H1 M5 mean reversion. So if you drop down to M5, if you're not already in it, wait for a reversal alert. Which will be there. One sec. So yeah, so we'll wait for a reverse alert, which will be there. There was a reverse alert on this one yesterday there, which is what I took. You can just about see. So all we've done today is basically go sideways. So next entry will be there on the Aussie CAD. The Aussie dollar Swiss. Again, 2 positions on that one. First entry on this one was taken back here. We had an H1 RSI extension there. You can't see it's under my head, but we had one there. We went sideways for days. Yeah, we finally, yesterday, we broke out of that range to the downside. So second entry got entered on yesterday. We continued to push down. So I'll be looking for a bounce out of this H1 extension now. But I kind of need to get another position on this one. So it's a bit too tight. What's that level I've drawn in? That was that high. Yeah. So this is where I said yesterday, there's a chance we might get some kind of bounce out of this area. We didn't. We just flew straight through it. So propulsion, basically, if we can get pushed down into ADR today, back into this propulsion gap, which is basically this area of resistance, which turned into support, which was also a previous area of resistance and support. Yeah, very strong level. If we can get down towards that, which is ADR, I'll get a third position on, bring the average down, and then we'll look to get out on pullback on that move back into either there or there. So Aussie dollar Swiss, nicely extended. That one is also extended on the 4 hour down below the 25 level. So nice big strong drop there. Should be able to get a little bit of a profit take move off of that one. Aussie dollar US dollar. Hedged on the DAX. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Let me just put targets in place. One sec. Oh, it's not even going. Look. So going 4 hours short, basically, which is here. So we screamed through that level. We're either going to bounce off of here, which is there pretty much, which is yesterday's low. So when we hit yesterday's low, we either bounce off of yesterday's low and rally, in which case we're going to the upside. So I'm going to move my TP up there. Which again is 4R to the upside. So we're either going to get down to there and bounce, or we're going to fly down to ADR. It's really tricky today because ADR is so far away. But see if I can get one of those. Difficult today. This is a bit of a mess today, the market. Where are we? Aussie US. So Aussie US, yeah, huge. This US dollar sell-off, obviously. As I said yesterday in the live room when we were watching this all unfold, don't read necessarily too much into this move. The news that we had off of CPI yesterday was not that positive. The market rallied 100, 150 ADR in some instruments. Big, strong push by the US dollar. But, you know, look at what we get after a big, strong push. Yeah. So don't read too much into this because this is not massively positive US dollar news. This is a knee-jerk reaction. This is the market dumping orders basically into the US. They will get back out of these at some point. So we're looking for that V-shaped recovery move to start to kick in. We'll get at least a 50% retracement on it at some point, but that is from where it starts its retracement. So obviously today, no more support. That's it. That is your support. So if we get down to there today and we can get a bounce, look for a 50% retracement on that move there. So I've got one on this Aussie US long. Extended on the hourly yesterday. So I'll look for that propulsion gap. In fact, ADR today. This propulsion gap here. So this high pushed up. Yeah. Pulled back into it. Slammed through it. That's where I'd expect to go if we're going to continue another down leg. So we're looking for an ADR hit on this one, either today or some point. But that's basically a 61.8 retracement on that leg. 61.8. That's Aussie US. Euro odd. Extended to the upside. Short on this one. It's tricky. There's an awful lot of places this thing could go. That's part of a V shape, that propulsion gap. This one, however, is an accumulation break, which has been tested multiple times. We've bought out of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Yeah. So we know there's a hell of a lot of buyers down there. The buyers have now managed to take control, make a new high. So market structure is confirmed as long. So we're looking for a market structure pullback into this area somewhere. That propulsion gap is kind of part of just a normal V-shaped move. So that isn't really something I would look to target. That is pretty aggressive to get all the way back down to there, which would kind of invalidate that move. So this accumulation really, where we took off yesterday, is probably where I would look for a target. It's not particularly great as a target, but it's the only thing I can see on the chart really that might get retested. So it's either going to come down and it'll get to it, which is roughly ADR, so it's easy to achieve, or it'll push up, and obviously then we'll look at some kind of pullback on the entire move that it puts in. So that's nicely extended. Yesterday was even higher, which is why we got into that first entry on the 5-minute reversal alert. You've had a 5-minute reversal alert this morning already on this one as well, although it wasn't extended on the RSI this morning, but nice M pattern there. No, you haven't had a reversal alert. That just about to get the first one, but that's a hell of a move up. So when that breaks, we'll potentially look for some kind of retest. So the market structure will be high, low, lower high, lower low. We look for a lower high, so you could get an entry there if you don't want to take the initial reversal alert. But looks pretty good. Euro New Zealand. Look at that one. Let's just quickly whiz over and see what the DAX is up to. Buying out of propulsion. Bloody mess today, isn't it? Can't make up its mind at all. Let's wait for that to play out. Just see where it goes. Hopefully it'll make a move at some point. We've got Bailey speaking in 25 minutes, which might G up the pound, and if that happens, it might G up the euro, which obviously will affect the DAX. So we'll see. So Euro New Zealand extended on the hourly, so that's a nice extension on the hourly there. Good divergence in there as well as a confirmation. Yeah. So it's bearish divergence at resistance after a big strong move. They haven't taken any profit whatsoever on, so just looking for a pullback. That's also extended on the 4-hour, just about above the 75. Big strong push in a downtrend, pull back into the 24.72 at a high. Yeah, and there's tons and tons and tons of potential support term resistance coming up. We got that level there. Yeah, there's loads of resistance coming up. So if this does continue to rally today, we'll just wait for the New Zealand dollar to get some legs. Pound odd, that's extended on the 4-hour as well, just about, but extended on the hourly nicely. Yesterday we got an RSI extension there, so target on this one. It's tricky as well. So this was a 7-day accumulation. Yeah, where we just went sideways for over a week and a half. And then yesterday we got the break on the Australian dollar weakness and the New Zealand dollar weakness. So we're either going to come, this is an area of balance. This is price discovery. Price discovery, if it fails, will tend to come down, retest that area, and then move back into the area of balance. And then we often get a price discovery out the opposite side. So this is where the market's happy to transact. Yeah. Buyers see if there's anybody up there willing to sell to them. If there isn't, come back down again. And then we move back the other way. So if it is an area where we're happy to now conduct business or we can get further from, we'll come back down and we'll retest these highs. And then we'll bounce from those highs. So I'm assuming that it's a price discovery failure, basically. So I'll look for it to pull back somewhere into the midline on that range. If it comes down to there, there's absolutely no point in getting out there. There's not enough profit in it. So I'll just wait for it to get further up, and then I'll take a retracement at a later date. And pound New Zealand, pretty much the same thing, I think you'll find. A bit more protracted, but there's your range. In fact, we only just got out the range this morning. It pushed up into the top of the range yesterday. So that's extended on the hourly, extended again, divergence. Not particularly great divergence on that, but we are pushing up into propulsion. So this is a bit of a weak propulsion gap, because it's a good propulsion gap is basically a nice defined accumulation range, and then it's a bang, big fast move out of it. So we're taking control and we're going this way. We're selling. If you come back here, we're going to push you away and sell again. This was more of a meh. Then a big move came in, which was news. So not a particularly great propulsion gap. As you can see, the pound has been grinding against everything. So there are a number of places this could react It's virtually impossible to pick somewhere. You can see all the propulsion gaps on the chart. There's loads of them. So short on it at the moment. I'll look for it to come back down into roughly 50% retracement on that. If it's going to continue up, that's fine. If it continue up from here, add another position. And then we've got a really big extension, which will look for a pullback into these highs. So no idea where this one's going. Obviously, we've got Bailey this morning that might kick this off. Either way, you know, if Bailey says we're definitely done with interest rates, in fact, we think we might bring them down by the end of the year, we're off. If he's bullish and says actually doesn't look like we've done enough, we're going to need another 0.25%, the pound will be off. So we'll see what happens basically, but he may say nothing and we just sit and flip-flop, which is kind of what we've been used to for the last 2 months, going nowhere. So we'll see what happens. But short one, see if we can get down into that propulsion gap just beyond ADR to start with, see where we go from there. New Zealand dollar CAD, nice big drop to the downside. First entry on that one. Again, really tricky to pick. I'm just going to go and put it up there for the minute, which is just underneath that area where we started that move. See where we go. That propulsion gap's not really enough profit for me to get out of. So looking for support on this. We got a nice weekly level coming up here. So we got this high. Yeah, so that was the propulsion move through that area. We came back, we retested that propulsion move, and then we added more positions in. So there's your market structure. Now we're coming back down the other way. So we've had the reversal at the highs. We've put in a new low. So we're looking for a pushback on that move to potentially come back down and retest this area. So that's too close. There's no point getting out there. It's just not enough money in it. So it might go into a horrible accumulation. But if we get some decent market structure, we should be able to get a good pullback on it. In fact, let me just measure that. So there's hardly any profit in it, but that accumulation is probably easier to get out on. So this little bit here where we've got that propulsion move, that area there basically, that's a 61.8 retracement. So if we can get that, that's far enough for me. I'll just take that. New Zealand dollar CAD, so that's nice extended. New Zealand dollar Swiss, again, this New Zealand dollar is absolutely flawed at the minute. It's not got any legs whatsoever. So quite what's causing this sell-off, I don't know. I suspect it's something to do with what's going on in China at the moment. We've got Nagel speaking at the moment. Nothing particularly exciting been said by the looks of things. Yeah, we've had a lot of China news with China CPI. China CPI has dropped, which is negative for China. The Australasian countries, Australia and New Zealand, do an awful lot of export into China. So China's economy affects the Aussie and the New Zealand economy in the fact that most of their export business goes out to that area. So if you have problems in China where they may start to restrict spending and not do as much, that affects the Australasian pairs. So it may be that we're seeing some weakness off the back of what they were forecasting for CPI to be with China. And as we've got that negative number, that might be what's happening here. But it's always a bit difficult. It's a bit of a tenuous link. So we'll see. But yeah, that's coming down. So obviously if that continues down into propulsion, we'll be adding another position down there and then get out on a pullback on that leg up there. We've also got New Zealand dollar yen. So this has started to come down. Obviously, this is not yen strength. As I've been saying for weeks, not looking at longing anything on against the yen. I have turned the EA off on all yen pairs because I'm a bit exposed on the US dollar yen and I don't want to get any more exposure on, just in case that US dollar yen rallies and it takes a while for them to do something about it. So all these yens I'm not trading at the moment, but if you took that one, obviously, yesterday, well done. So there was an H1 there, which you wouldn't have got out of on that. And you would have obviously be in nice profit on it now. So that's extended now to the downside. So might be an area that you want to start thinking about getting out if you're short. But that's the intervention level there, which is 175 ADR. So difficult to tell really, but there is a long opportunity on it. So if they're going to continue this leg down, they may well pull back. But the New Zealand dollar at the moment is absolutely destroyed. So not getting anywhere to the upside at all. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, obviously perfect storm. Got into the first entry on this one yesterday. We've had a massively weak New Zealand dollar, and then yesterday the US woke up. So boom, that was probably the biggest move of the day yesterday. That and the Aussie. So yeah, biggest move there, biggest extension. Lovely 2 propulsion gaps put in there on that news. They absolutely caned it. So looking for these propulsion gaps as targets to the upside would be preferable for me if they actually push this down further and we got down into these lows today and we found some support down there because that will accelerate the move back up again. So if we get down all the way to there, market will be very extended, very stretched, watching for signs of profit take. We'd have limit orders ready to trigger buys down here because that's what they did last time. So with that, worry about getting out of positions because you're in so much profit, and buyers stepping into the market at the same time. If you get a big spike, you'll suddenly get a big retraction. So I'll be able to get a second position on down there, which will bring my average down here, and then I can move my targets down into that propulsion gap and exit when they get back to there, which will be a 50% retracement on that move. So that's the plan. And US dollar CAD. Extended to the upside. Why am I not short on that one? We didn't get a reverse alert on that yesterday, look. That's why I'm not short. So we pushed up yesterday, and it was such an aggressive move when we got extended from there onwards. There was no reversal alert. We've come back down without getting a reverse alert, so no order triggered. Nothing you can do about that because it's the last reversal alert on this one would have been on that candle there, yeah, which is the bottom of that propulsion gap. We literally only broke it this morning. That's the first reversal alert we've had on it in 2 days, and it's way below RSI extension now, so no entry. Why is that coming down so hard? Bit of weakness coming through on the US. A lot of weakness coming through on the US. So yeah, looks like they might be undoing this move. So I was just going to see if that was oil rallying, but it's not. Oh, yes, it is. No, oil's rallying as well. So we got a rally on oil, which is helping the Canadian dollar, and we've obviously got a weakness in the US. So this is coming down a lot harder. So yeah, nice entry. Potentially just had a reverse alert, so you could play it back down into that propulsion gap. But as I said, I not fully expect, but I'm thinking it's highly likely we're going to get an A-shaped recovery on all these US dollar moves. Yeah, this is exactly the same thing as we had last week. You know, there. This isn't. That's the wrong news. Yeah, you went the wrong way on the news, everybody. So I said, don't pay any attention to that. This is going down. Don't pay any attention to that. That's wrong. Yeah, there's negative US dollar news yesterday. You don't rally 150 ADR on negative news. So today, I suspect we might be back down here. However, we've got University of Michigan, and if the Michigan numbers come out as high, it will slow or stop that potential pullback. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But nice extension, only just though now on the US dollar CAD. But it was a nice extension yesterday. Similar to that move. Look, that's where I got in on that RSI. Can't see, my head's in the way. This move here, so that was the entry. Big strong move, and then second scale in and out. So if you are in that and it does decide to push up and test that level, take a second and just get out on the pullback on that whole move there. Right, Dax, what are you doing? Absolutely nothing. Should have left it alone. It's Friday the 13th. Mike Myers is in the building. Weird. On one of my brokers, the orders on the SIH got activated, and they didn't on the other. Yeah, broker execution. That's normal. People don't understand how important brokers are when you're scalping. Order execution, slippage, and spread are absolutely critical when you're using any type of short-term intraday strategy, like anything on M5, basically. If you're taking moves when the market is fast, you've got to get those orders in. So what you want is someone that's going to fill you quickly at the price you've asked for. You get two different brokers, some 8cap. I've been on about 8cap for a long time because they run an awful lot of prop firms, 8cap. Their execution is awful. I have sat in the live room here with an 8cap broker on prop, pressed the buy button, counted 5 seconds before my order actually goes into the market. This thing's gone in 5 seconds. You've missed it. Yeah. It's the difference between taking a 1% risk and a 2% risk order execution. It's critical. And if you've got 2 brokers, you can test this. Yeah. Or 3 brokers. Yeah. Get a VPS set up. Put 3 different MT4s on your VPS with 3 different brokers. One of them on a live account, one of them on a demo, one of them on an 8cap, for example. Put the same EA on there. You will get totally different results because order execution and slippage will be totally different. Yeah. It's just a fact of life with trading, which is why you can never pay 100% attention to any backtest you ever do, because not only will the market never replicate those patterns again because they are random, you will never get the execution you actually got in the strategy test. It doesn't happen. Doesn't matter how much you play around with spread, which is why when you're doing testing, you need one of the system parameter permutation tests you need to do is spread. Yeah. So run a test with a 2 pip spread. Then run the same thing with a 5 pip spread. Yeah. See the difference? It's huge. The difference between getting a 3 pip difference on your trades can be the difference between a profitable equity curve and a negative equity curve. It's that precise. So, this is why you just have to play it by ear manually. You've got to watch what's going on. Days like this, the reason I sat there was because I was watching this price action. I'm seeing gaps appearing on candles. This is way too volatile to get into. Wait. Yeah. EA can't wait. It doesn't wait. It just does what it's told to do, which is go, all right, I'm going to place an order here and here because that measures that. Real world, you need to learn to do this. This is why I keep saying, you're never going to find the Holy Grail. You've got to spend time in front of these charts watching this thing move because you get a feel for it. It's almost like the Matrix. You can see what's coming because you've seen it 1,000 times. If you've never seen it before, you've got no way of knowing what's coming. Just one of those things you've got to do. You've got to put the time in on them and just spend the time basically studying it. Adjusting an order over here. Anyway, Monday, the anything that is worse than any Friday the 13th. Jules, that doesn't make sense. Monday, the anything is worse than Friday the 13th. Yeah, that is true. Mondays, when you get to a certain age, you used to go out and have a drink and wake up and maybe go to the gym, and then Monday morning bright as a button for work. Now, if you go out and have a drink on a Saturday night, roughly Tuesday afternoon, you might actually feel back to normal. So I'm not looking forward to the next 10 years because I'm probably going to have a drink on Saturday and then finally get to a functionable thing on the Friday the next week and then repeat the process. If you don't drink, it's not a problem. Red wine lasts 2 days now. Hangovers. Swiss yen. So Mondays are always bad, yeah. Swiss yen. We had a reversal out on that one yesterday as well. A bit of weakness on the Swissy, but nothing to write home about. again, would be having no problem whatsoever taking that reversal yesterday because of the US dollar yen movement. So, which obviously looks like it's abating a little bit today. But yeah, shorts on everything against the yen. The way I see the yen at the moment is there's one of two things going to happen. Yeah, we're either going to, let's look at the 4-hour chart, which is easier. We're either going to get the market accept the fact that yen intervention is going to happen if they continue to push it, and we might as well just buy it anyway, guys, approach, or we're going to get the screw you, yen, says the US dollar, I'm pushing you, and they're going to intervene. Whichever one of those happens, you do not want to be buying anything against the yen. It's just a ticking time bomb. You could buy this for 3 or 4 days and make an absolute fortune out of it. You could buy it today and on Monday be crucified. Yeah, you've got no way of timing anything in this market, and an intervention is one of those things you just will never time. It will just happen when it needs to happen, and they will press the button when they need to press the button. I'm hoping they won't need to press the button. Yesterday I was hoping we're going to get negative US, and we did to a certain extent. But I'm hoping we're going to get Michigan come out negative today. And I'm hoping that we're going to get Harker this afternoon being a little bit bearish on the US dollar when he speaks. So if we can get this brought back down again, there's no need for any intervention. Either way, I want to be that way on it. So any pair you look at to do with the yen, as you can see, when and if that yen buy rally starts, everything will come down because the yen is incredibly powerful. It's like the Swiss franc. If the Swissy powers up and they drive money into the Swissy, it doesn't matter what currency is doing what. You could have interest rates go up by 0.5% on the US dollar. If the Swiss franc's rallying, the US dollar's coming down against it. The Swissy will run everything over. The yen will run anything over as well when it gets a rally going. So everything is a sell as far as I'm concerned against the yen. But it could happen at any time. So it's just from a fundamental perspective, the view is we don't want to be buying it. But intraday, no problem. If you want to take that reversal alert long and assume they're going to break that high and then make some resistance up there somewhere at the previous day's high, do it. Nothing wrong with going long intraday. Just be aware, if you put a stop loss intraday and an intervention move happens, that is not going to get executed. You're going to get somewhere around 10 to 15 times worse price than you wanted. So just, bear it in mind when you're taking things like this. Yeah. If you go, no problem, I'll put my stop to break even. Your break even will be activated somewhere off the bottom of this chart, which is why you look at it and go, actually, I don't want to be longing anything. Look at the intervention move. I won't go to the 1 minute chart. I went to the 1 minute chart when the intervention happened just to show you. That whole thing, 400% of an average daily range. Normally this thing moves around about 140 pips. It did over 500 basically there. Look. Sorry, no, 260. Oh, no, this was the Swissy, wasn't it? This was the one that didn't get massive movement. But that move there was 4 ADR on most things. It happened in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yeah. So when that kicks in, if your stop loss was there and you'd longed it there, yeah, your stop loss would have been executed somewhere down there. If that was 1% risk, you took 10 to 15% of your account off. Just be very, very, very careful longing anything against the yen at the moment. It's like that kids game, hot potato, or the water bomb game where you have to throw something to everybody, and at some point that thing's going to pop and soak you in water. If you're going long against this thing, at some point it's going to pop. Yeah, except this time we're using money, we're not using water. A bit more dangerous. XRUpdate.news morning. I'm late catching up, no problem. Robert, sorry, I wasn't precise. I mean, the EA triggered the pending orders. EA triggered the pending orders. What did you say before? Weird. On one of my brokers, the orders on SAH got activated. EA triggered the pending orders. Ah, right. Okay. So you're talking about Okay, yeah. So that's to do with this. Look. Yeah. So every broker as well has got a different spread, which means every broker is going to have a different price, which means every broker is going to have a different range within a few pips. Yeah. So the minimum range from an ADR perspective that I have asked for is 209. I got 207 as the range here today. If the broker had spread by 3 pips, I would have triggered an order. They didn't. Another broker might have. This one didn't. Again, so that is the difference. Yeah. You're going to get different prices. You're going to get different open times. You're going to get, everything's different in brokers. All brokers are doing is they're giving you a price plot on a chart and they're giving you a spread and saying, if you press the button, we'll take a commission from you and we'll execute the order at the best price possible. What they show you here is their representation of what's happening with the German stock market. That isn't the exact price the German stock market is trading at right now. Yeah, on the futures market, it's trading at a completely different price. Yeah, so nothing is ever going to be exact. So sometimes you get triggered, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get the price you want, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get spread, some slipped, sometimes you don't get slipped. Sometimes you get slipped positively and you actually get a better price than you asked for. Once every 54 trades or so, that's what will happen. Very rare because brokers go, oh, screwed up there, because they gave you actually more than they wanted to. But all sorts of stuff happens. Basically, when you're in a trade, you're in a trade. You deal with what you're in afterwards. Pressing the button is irrelevant. What happens after you've pressed the button is what makes you money or not. So whether it got triggered or didn't get triggered is irrelevant. If it got triggered, you're in. Deal with the trade. If you didn't get triggered, you're not in. Sit there and do nothing. Just one of those things. ADR will be different on brokers. So again, if you've got a broker that shows pre-market data, so if you look at the DAX on this broker, God, what a load of stuff. So the DAX here on Darwin-X opens at 1 a.m. DAX here on Forex opens at 9 a.m. Yeah. So the pre-market high here is 153.92. The pre-market high here is 154.24. So the average daily range here is completely different to the Forex average daily range because they're showing a load of price action that happened overnight on their data feed that Forex doesn't show you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Just, it's different. This is why systems and strategies, everybody's like, you do a system or a strategy, you see me executing a strategy and you're like, wow, that looks brilliant, I'm going to do that. And you do it and you get a totally different result. You're doing exactly what I'm doing. You're getting a totally different result. It's because everything you're doing is different because you're not doing what I'm doing at the millisecond I'm doing it with the broker that I'm doing it, and you're not getting the spreads and everything that I'm getting. Nothing you can do about it. Execute the methodology with the broker that you have and concentrate on your charts. I was taught at a very early age, not when I was a kid, a very early age in my trading journey, trade your charts. Was one mentor I was with, and he said, don't look at my charts, trade your charts. Because I was fixated on New York candlestick close, because different brokers will have different candlestick closes. This is relevant specifically to the 4-hour chart. If you go to a 4-hour chart and look at candle close time, yeah, these are what are called New York candle closes. And this is what 99% of brokers use nowadays. Back 10 years ago, brokers did all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. But now, my candles open at midnight, 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12. Yeah. So even numbers. A lot of brokers would have candlesticks that start at 2 in the morning and then 6 and then 10. So I would look at the guy who I was following going, why do your candlesticks look totally different to mine? Because his closed at midnight and 4 a.m. and mine closed at 2 and 6 a.m. So obviously the price action in between was totally different on my candlesticks. So he'd have a massive shooting star or hammer and say, that's a good long. And I'd be looking at it going, what? Trade my charts and I would have made a different decision. The strategy that I'm executing isn't any different, but I'm seeing something different. So you trade your own charts, because if you get into a trade and I don't, or I get into a trade and you don't, you've got to deal with your thing because you're in it. What's going to happen to you may be beneficial to you, and I will be sitting here not making money while you're making money. That's all that is happening, is something is happening after an order execution. You've just got to try and pull yourself out of the, why I get it all the time in Telegram. Why did you take that trade? Well, because I got a reverse alert. I didn't. Oh, well, you didn't take it then, did you? Yeah, but I should have taken it. Why should you have taken it? Your chart did not give you a reverse alert because your broker quoted you a different price. So therefore, you didn't get an execution. Does it mean it's a good thing to have or a bad thing to have? Well, I want it. Why do you want it? Because if it flies up that way and you go into drawdown, you'll be saying, oh, I'm glad I didn't get into that one. If it goes down, you'll be cross. The only thing that's going to happen when that order is executed is your emotion changes. It doesn't make you better or worse trader, more positive or less P&L. All that's happened is an order's been executed and now you have to deal with it. Your portfolio now includes that or that. That is all you focus on. I've got something to deal with, or I haven't got something to deal with. Whether it's taken and the reason it was taken, whether there was a moving average crossover, whether there was a Bollinger Band extension, whether there's an RSI extension, a reversal alert, we had a range that we decided to take a break of. None of that makes any difference. All that matters is your position is long on that instrument and you need to deal with that instrument as price moves up and down from that point on. So forget brokers, forget spreads, forget swaps, forget pre-market data, post-market data. None of it's relevant. Something will happen and you deal with it. That's literally all you can do as a trader. Because everybody's going to get something different. We had some guy in Telegram yesterday getting irate because I couldn't answer a question about what an offset was on a price level on the stock index hedge EA. To me, I was like, well, it's this. I couldn't give him the right answer for some reason. I couldn't work out why, and it all got a bit like, oh my God, I can't be asked anymore. So I left it. To me, the reason I left it was because it really doesn't matter. I couldn't give a monkey's. Whether you just use the thing and it'll get you in. Whether it's there or there or there or there, makes no difference in the grand scheme of things, right? On a candlestick like this morning on the DAX, yeah, like that, doesn't matter if your offset was there, or there. You're in. Doesn't matter what the price was. What exactly would the price be? I don't know and I don't care. Neither should you. Yeah, it doesn't matter, does it? I went long, I've gone short. We're now sitting in the middle. If you haven't done that, brilliant. I have, so now I've got to deal with a hedge. You can go and make a cup of coffee and go and watch telly. Yeah. This is my situation, that's your situation. It doesn't matter about the details. They are irrelevant in the long term. When you're dealing with any time frame above the tick level or 1 minute level, everything is just whatever it is. Can I look at oil? I can. So oil's rallying at the minute. So yeah, back up to yesterday's high approaching. So yeah, gap fill. So basically I got into a, sorry, I haven't covered all this morning, have I? So yesterday, on Wednesday, I took that second position on the gap fill. So first entry was there after the gap. And I said, we're either going to do a gap and go or we're going to do a gap fill. Plan was, if we do a gap and go, brilliant. If we do a gap fill, is to enter on the gap fill, which I did. I took that off yesterday on the retracement just in case it dropped. It did. So I said, I will get into that position again if it drops, which I did. There. Yeah. So I'm in again. Average is back to where it was, now back into profit. So this is a second test, basically, of the gap fill. So this is what I would class as the W there. that's where the reversal is. So looks good. The oil inventories yesterday came out as a negative, I think. I can't remember. Yeah. So we went up to 10.2 million barrels in stock. We were anticipating being a negative barrel count. We had a massive positive. So, of course, the market just went, whoa. And then it went, actually, it doesn't make any difference in the long term because there's a war coming and we're going to need more of it. So it just bounced basically off the news yesterday, which is great because it gave me an opportunity to get back in. So I can now take this off and bank this again if I want to. But I think now that we're getting this rally, if we can break yesterday's high, we should be looking to come up and retest ADR today, which is the previous day's high, which is the accumulation after the gap. Once we've broken that gap, we're off to 110 a barrel. Hopefully. That wasn't fingers crossed, was it? Hopefully. So first target is retest of 95 on crude, on Brent, but it's 93 on West Texan. And then from there off, hopefully. Target is by end of year to be at $100 a barrel. But I reckon it's going to need to go some to get there. Yeah, so we've just had a 1/2 week pause stroke drop. In fact, it's 3 weeks, really. So to get back up to there, we're probably talking 2 or 3 weeks. That takes us into November. So we've got to basically rally fairly hard for the entire November period to get there by Christmas, which is achievable, but it's going to need that rather than that. So we'll see where we go. But yeah, certainly looking longs, and that was the pullback that we were looking for. So market structure pullback, which was 71.9, which was the deepest one that I sort of said, that's why I got in and got interested there. But the gap basically happened before I got in. So yeah, looks good. But we'll see. A lot of unknowns in the market at the moment with what's going on in Israel. That's all going to kick off tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. So basically, Gaza's been given 24 hours to evacuate the north end, i.e. everybody go south or get obliterated, basically. So the danger here is that the Americans get involved, Lebanon starts to get involved, Hezbollah get involved, the Saudis get involved, and it just explodes across the region. If that happens, oil production will be massively affected. In that case, oil is going to go through the roof at a rate of knots, which is why I'm long on it. In the same way as I'm short on the yen, it's not for any technical reason, it's purely fundamentals. That is what tends to happen in war. Oil price goes up. If there's restricted supply, oil price goes up. There's two things at the moment which, with this conflict escalating, could happen. Restricted supply and demand increase. Oil goes up. So want to be buying it. Just hope this is the right spot. That's the thing we don't know, is it? Is this the right time? Is this the right spot? But we will see. It looks good. Posted in the Telegram channel. It seems the ADR is totally different on both brokers. Yeah, so that'll be it, Robert. Definitely broker price. Any reason you picked MT4 over MT5? Doesn't MT5 have better algorithmic trading? No. What gives you that impression? How can something have better algorithmic trading? Think about it. Algorithmic trading is, if this happens, then do that. How does this chart on MT4 differ from the chart on MT5? And therefore, how can the chart here affect those two statements? Just trading view, Tradeovate, Bookmap, MT4, MT5, Ninja Trader. What else have I got? Jigsaw, mentioned that one. don't know. Pick a platform. All you're doing is you're seeing a price printed on your screen. That's it. MT5 is just slower, more buggy, worse in every way. The only thing that is slightly better on MT5 is the strategy tester, which gives you information about what's happened in the past and has nothing to do with the future. So for me, MT4 all the way. There's 1,000 more indicators available for MT4 than there is for MT5. It's faster, loads quicker. Look at MT5. I've done this comparison before. I don't even know what indicator it is. There you go. See this, right? See this drawing now? See all this going on the screen? Okay, it's loaded. All right, switch time frame. $10 seconds. 15 seconds. There we go. 15 seconds that took. Not even updated yet. Oh, no, it has updated. So it's all updated. Except the lines are all in the wrong place. Let me just flick back to M30 and then back to the hourly and see if it updates properly. There we go. So now the lines are in the right place. Now it's going to start drawing in the propulsion gaps and readjusting all the data. Can you imagine running a live stream with this? Yeah. Before you say your indicator's crap, this is exactly the same coding as MT4. MT5's visual interface is shocking. That's the problem. It's nothing to do with anything but the MT5 interface. This is still updating. Let's do the same thing over here. We'll go to the US dollar yen, instant. Let's switch time frames. Instant, 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 instant. Yeah, no one can argue with me about this. MT5 is shite. Literally. Just don't bother. You can't hear it, but my computer right now, the fans are going because I'm using MT5. This is a graphical user interface. They render the graphics in MT5 completely differently to MT4, which causes all this crap. There's so many indicators I've used in the past that I've tested on MT5 and they just are awful. It's nothing to do with MT5, with the indicator. There's nothing wrong with the coding. The logic is the same. The lines of code is pretty much the same. There's few differences in it, but very little. This thing just can't handle anything. The symmetrical triangle indicator that I have a dashboard for it for MT4. I can't build one for MT5 because MT5 can't handle the calculations. It can't handle the number of computations that the MT4 one does like that. So yeah, that's why I use MT4. I should snip that video and put it out because I get asked the question all the time. That's why it's awful. If you're not going to use any indicators, fine. If you're just going to be completely bare naked chart trader, fine. MT5 is still going to be slower, but it's got some advantages, but very little. But who doesn't use some kind of indicators? A few people. But ECB must have got hold of Powell's laptop. What's happened to the ECB? Euro's rallying. Yeah, a little bit. Not a lot. No news this morning, really. Trader's Journey. Good day. May I ask what broker you trade with? Your EAs? Robo Forex. Can you look at oil? Done that. Could you show your trade manager dash, please? I reduced my RSI 72.28. They're odd numbers. Just to make sure I'm not missing out on trades. And I woke up like 7 new trades. Yeah. You reduced your RSI to 72.28. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't matter what level you used, is it? Really? Think about it. It's exactly what I've just been saying, isn't it, AZ? Basically, it doesn't matter. You will be in different trades to me now at different levels to me. That doesn't make yours better or worse than me. It makes yours different. So you manage yours differently to me. I might get out of something because I got in here and you got in here. So I will get out because I've made enough, and you'll go, that's not enough, and you're going to draw down on it. And from that moment on, our P&Ls and portfolios will be totally different. Makes no difference whatsoever whether you pick the 80, the 75, the 72, the 70, the 65, whatever. All this is doing is signaling you to enter the market. What happens after you've entered the market is what makes you money or makes you loss. That doesn't make you money. That doesn't make you money. That enters risk into the market on your behalf. That's it. No right, no wrong, just whatever you want. Yeah, I've got loads of new trades. So yeah, so you can see I've got single positions. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So overnight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh yeah, some of these are multiples, aren't they? So going from there, basically, pound odd. How many got on that? That's a single. So there, yeah, about 8 or 9 new positions, which is good. Risk. That's what we want. Bailey should be speaking now. Yep, 9:10. Not saying anything, is he? Nothing at the moment. Where is he speaking? I've forgotten. I did say, didn't I, earlier? Institute of International Finance in Morocco. So just watch your pound. You know, we may get some movement, but here we go. We're seeking progress. That inflation is being tackled, but there is work left to do. So yeah, watch this. We might get some movement. He may say something. He may not. Emmett. Oh, wow, that is slow. Now I see why people prefer MT4. I guess on paper they say MT5 is faster. I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. It's not. Just not. I've got a bit of a privileged insight into usage on those platforms because I have indicators that I sell on the marketplace. Yeah, so I can't see anything on the marketplace. They restrict everything. It's a bit like Amazon. You never see who your customers are. I have no idea who buys anything. All I can see is numbers. So I see a sale. That's it. I get to see what platform that sale is on. 90%, it's 91% of the sales of my indicators in EAs on the marketplace are MT4. 9% are MT5. So that is how I know that 90% of traders factually are using MT4 because 90% of sales are MT4, which means no one's using MT5. Some people are, and everybody that complains to me is on MT5. And if I say I'm not going to do anything for MT5 because it's a pig to code for, it's a pig to be debug, it's a pig to get anything through the marketplace because the tests are so much more stringent than MT4. It's a pig to do everything with it. And that's where all the problems come from. Because you get two people, right? I'm not having any go at anybody here. I'm just saying I have a lot of people in South Africa that use some of the products. They have low-powered laptops, right? If you try and run MT5 on an i3 processor and put 2 dashboards and 2 indicators on your chart, something like this, the whole thing freezes up. Of course, it's not the laptop's problem. It's the indicator's problem. No, it's not. It's the laptop's problem. You need an i7 processor with 16 gig RAM bare minimum to run MT5 if you want to put anything on it that's actually going to be useful. But they don't tell you that, do they, at MetaQuotes? Because they'd never get anybody using MT5. It was developed as a futures platform. It's crap at futures analysis. So they developed and built something, rolled it out and went, hey, here's the new futures platform. Oh, NinjaTrader exists. Oh, why is no one wanting it? Bookmap exists. Jigsaw exists. TraderVate exists. TradingView exists. Everything is better than MT5 at futures analysis. Oh, okay. Well, it's the future. Just bad. Morning day trader FX. Slept in. Good man. AZ. Yep, that was the thinking. I felt like I wasn't getting into enough trades. Then I heard your voice in my head. Just get in. Yep. You are. DAX. So far today, we've made a grand movement from the open of nothing, basically. Nothing. Just not moving. So it looks like I'm going to lock in a loss this morning because it's not going anywhere. I can't even get... It's almost like I want to shut my longs out here and assume that we're going to come back down to here so I can shut out my shorts and take like $400 loss just to get out the thing. It hasn't even broken out of that range yet. Look, there's the pre-market. Look, can't even zoom in far enough because it hasn't moved far enough. Look, that's the pre-market high and that's the pre-market low. We've basically matched the pre-market range for this is an hour and a half, this line. So we're nearly an hour and a half into the session. We're pretty much exactly where we opened. So wait and see what happens. We'll have a look at it this afternoon because it's not going anywhere today, is it? Right. That's all I've got for you today. Waiting to see what happens with everything. Oil's moving nicely. Everything's virtually most of the positions I've got on are new. There's a couple of older ones, and obviously pound US dollar has been hanging around for a while. So other than that, just a case of waiting to see if I can bank something today. I've got 0.5% I can bank on oil right now. But what I will probably do with oil, what I'll do is I'll take this off, this one that I took off yesterday. I'll take that one off if we can get an ADR today up at this high, just in case we do go into a range for a week or so. And then obviously if it rallies, this position is going into profit and I'm adding one here. So I'm adding into the trade with a view to testing that high. But we'll see where we go. We might just flip-flop around here. Yeah, we were at yesterday's high and rejecting now. Look. So we've got some limit orders triggering at the highs. So look for that sort of movement potentially today. We'll see. We'll have a look at it this afternoon, though. Nothing much happening at the minute. How have you got your trade manager dash in alphabetical order? Shut it down and restart it. So basically, when it initializes, it orders the symbols alphabetically. When it takes the trades, it just adds them. So if you leave your trade manager dash running for a period of time, it will basically just go in. Is that the way it works? I can't remember. I think it is, yeah. It will just basically put them in whatever order. So when you restart your terminal, because I shut the terminal down every night and restart it every morning, it then all readjusts itself. Or one thing you could try doing is just changing time frame on it. So change time frame on it. I'm not sure that works, actually. I honestly can't remember. I haven't looked at the code on this for years. I'm pretty sure I did it alphabetically, but anyway. I will leave it there. There's nothing else to discuss really this morning. We've covered everything, all the ADRs, all the RSIs. So lots of opportunities, which you'll probably already be in if you've got the market reversal alerts EA. I'll be back this afternoon at 2:20. Beware, obviously, we've got talking heads today before the market opens at 2 o'clock. So we've got the Fed talking just before the open. We've got Lagarde talking. Bailey's talking at the moment. Nothing really exciting coming out that I can see. So we will basically just see where we are this afternoon and trade the US indices. The DAX, excuse me, the plan for the DAX is if we get movement today, I'll be looking for an exit around about 4R, which is that high. And to the upside, I'll be looking for an exit around about 4R, which is that low. And see if I can get a bounce basically out of those areas just to get out with something. Break even would be good today. So anything will be good today because this is just a total whippy mess. Does restarting terminal not impact MRA? Yeah, it will do. It'll impact your EA, yeah. But that's why you run your VPS. You have your market reversal alerts EA runs on the VPS. Your terminal will run on whatever you look at, unless you're looking at a VPS. Another thing you can do is just get rid of it. Yeah, so shut it down. Open a new chart. So save this template. Save template. Dash trade manager. It's my template for the trade manager. Or is it special? Save it. Close it. Open a chart. Apply the template. Ta-da! Don't know. Do that. I honestly can't remember how it's ordered. I have no idea. I'll have a look at the code and see if I can find out. It's got to be alphabetical, isn't it? That can't be coincidence. The only other way it could be ordered is in order of execution in your account history or your live trade dash, the monitor. But it can't be a coincidence, can it? It's alphabetical. It sorts them alphabetically. It's coming back to me the code. I'm pretty sure that's it. But it only works on initialization. And that initialization should happen on time frame change, but it might just be on launch. I can't remember. Anyway, go and have a play. Right, I'll be back this afternoon. Yeah, I'm running everything on a VPS. I don't want to mess around with the EA. But yeah, shut the chart down and open the chart again. Then you won't have a problem with it. That's the best thing to do. All right, have a good one. I'll be back this afternoon at 2:20. If not, be back Monday morning at 7:50. We'll have a look at the markets again and see where we're going. Oil's rallying very nicely. Look, so I might have a nice profit out of this today. Really nice. That put me on 12% for the month, which should be great. Considering we're on the 13th, that's 1%, which is on target for a 25% month. Fingers and thumbs crossed. Have a good day. I'll be back this afternoon and in Telegram. Until then, see you soon.